I'm here to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Mo Balstern here.
Thank you so much for your stamina and willingness to participate in this experiment. It's so exciting. I actually have attended one poetry slam in my life, and I want you guys to know this. While I support and embrace change, this was not my idea. I just found out about it when I opened the schedule in the email and saw that I was emceeing this. So that is, I got several emails asking me what my plans were. And I'm anti-competitive, so because I was raised in a very competitive atmosphere and then fished for 20 years. So I'm recovering, Peter. So I just said, as long as I don't have to judge anybody outside of my own mind, then I'm happy to do this. And in 1990, in the fall, after I returned from my first salmon fishing season, my friend Ian, because I had this fishing summer life and then freaky queer winter artist life, and I was stepping back into that, and my friend Ian took me to the Green Mill Lounge in Chicago, which is right down the street from where I lived. And that is where Mark Smith was the MC, and he's also the founder of the Poetry Slam movement. And I got to meet him, and he was just like a tall guy dressed in black with a ponytail, like you'd expect in a freaky queer art scene. And I can remember him MCing, and I was like, maybe I'll be like Mark Smith. And he got up, and he was just like really huge, and I remember him running in place on stage and doing this huge poem to welcome everybody, and then he did an open mic. And my friend, I was like, I wrote a poem while I was out fishing on a boat. And it was my first fishing poem. And Ian kept going, read the poem, read the poem, read the poem. And I was like, I'm not reading the poem. And then he said, Linda Berry is in the audience. And she was. And Linda Berry is an amazing artist, and she teaches people how to unlock their creativity. And at the time, she did a great comic in the Chicago Reader called Ernie Pook's Comic. Yes. Also the Chicago Reader, right? And she was there with, and I was like, okay, I'll read for Linda. And I read my poem, and I can remember, I recited it, and I can remember forgetting it halfway through, and they were so kind to me. I kind of walked in a little circle, and then I remembered, and I got a big hand. And then I went over, and I was like, met Linda Berry, and she was like, this is my friend Ira Glass. And I was like, whatever about you, Linda, which is basically how I make my life choices. So that brings us to the second item on my list, because that was the welcome and the story. And then you get so I'm excited to find out what a poetry slam is here. Now my job is to read the top half of the instructions. Some of you may have these. I got one earlier in the night. It's Fisher Poetry at the Line. Fisher Poets Gathering 2018, Liberty Theater, MC Mo Balstern. I'm following my own instructions. This Poetry Slam is a new event for the Fisher Poetry Gathering. Thank you, John and Florence and Amanda and the rest of you, for making us step into a new future together. Or inviting us to, I guess. You're not making us do anything. The slam began in a Chicago jazz club in 1984. Actually started in the Get Me High Lounge. A poetry slam is a stand-up and deliver on-site poetry competition where poets present their original poems and are immediately judged, and a winner is declared. I think the winner being declared happens after all the poets read, though. Seems like that would make sense. Judging is on both the poem and the delivery, good content and style and engaging delivery. So I think dancing around is helpful, like Mark Smith. Oregon Public Broadcasting invites the winner to read during Saturday's live noon to 1 p.m. broadcast of OPB's State of Wonder from the Wet Dog Cafe tomorrow. So if you win, and it seems kind of complicated to win, so it'll be good to see what happens. The competition poems have been selected in advance by the Fisher Poet Gathering Committee from Fisher Poet submissions, which seems to have happened last night. Oh, no? That's not where it happened. That's where they got told they won. The right to compete, to win. Isn't this great? We're doing it together. A7, let me make a note there. 7, Fisher Poets compete tonight. Presentation order is assigned by a drawing. So Florence, did you already do it? Okay, she's already on that. We can check that off. I don't have to do that. Okay, that's the first paragraph. Then the Fisher Poet Gathering Slam is modeled on International Slam Protocol. Okay, so it sounds like we've got a judge back there already. Okay, no props, costumes, or instruments. It does not say no nudity. Just pointing that out. Just pointing it out. 3-minute time limit per poet. You invited me to do this, so I'm just... 3-minute time limit per poet, which includes any words of preamble by the poet. So first word spoken, boom, the timer goes off. There's nothing in here about dramatic pauses. So if you came up here and paused for a long time, I'm not sure when the timer would start. Another just, I come from a place where people used to do performance art. Nude. A 10-second grace period is given, so you can go 10 seconds over, then 1 point is lost per 10 seconds over time. Timekeeper's call is final. John Broderick is the timekeeper. Is that correct? Yes. All right. Okay, this is that. And that. Can I have the list of names? So what we're about to do is choose the judges. And the judges need to affirm neutrality. That is, you can't have any vested interest in any poet, which maybe you've never been here before to the Fisher Poets and don't like anybody or know anybody, but... And my favorite part about this list, it is handwritten, so... I'm going to read the names of the competing poets. If you can search your soul and feel that you have complete neutrality, or at least a general neutrality, around the group of poets, then you're eligible to be a judge, and you will be picked accordingly. And I think maybe Florence will help with that. Everyone stand up, please. You guys are really good at following orders. Okay, you guys, we've already affirmed your neutrality. Here's the rest of the rules. I think I just got fired. 5 judges are selected. You've affirmed your neutrality. Judges, you will score each presentation on a number basis from 1 to 10. 10 being the highest score you can give. Tenths of a point are counted, for example, 7.2. Yeah. Right. The judges will hold the score up for the MC and the scorer to record after each presentation. This is just like we're all playing a gigantic party game and we've never... Okay, who's the scorer? Are you the scorer and the timekeeper? Okay, great. Top and bottom scores will be set aside. The middle 3 scores average to arrive at each poet's presentation score from 0 to 30. So you're going to do the arithmetic, is what you're saying. Okay, good. Also not doing that. Excuse me? Oh, okay. And finally, a sacrifice poem that is not in competition is presented and scored first to allow the judges to compare their scoring inclinations and possibly make adjustments. So you're going to have a practice run, sort of like setting the net without closing up with the money bag. Enjoy our first Fisher Poetry on the line. Yes. And also the motto is the points are not the point. The point is poetry. At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage an anonymous poet who will read a poem in sacrifice to the art.
I'm anonymous. The time starts now. This is a quiet, sad little poem, but I'm reading this by request. And when I'm finished, you score away. Death of the Kursk. On the loss of the Russian submarine Kursk and her 118 men on August 11th, 2000. The skin rips low on the side of the Kursk, opening her chambers to pressing Barents Sea, almost more than wives can bear, but like the men they do. Brother penitents in submarine cloisters, night on top of night, they draw the last oxygen down from the burning air, already staring at their dead black death as they turn into memory and myth. Men go desperate and men fall to prayer. Someone takes up a hammer and knocks. And some, in deepening chill and water as systems shut off, pat pockets and tables for papers and pens, ignoring cigarettes. God, find me a scrap in this dark. Blinded, blunted, waiting out the hours, they scratch their clumsy notes in sad conversation and love with those they know that will cry like them forever, and those who might come but won't. Wives hear the knocking in their homes at night, or was it from announcements on TV, and how nothing Russian can be done, and Russians don't ask for help. They startle at the footage broadcast around the world of their beaming lovers taped last year. Oh dear God, it's them. Showing off the innards of the steel submarine, angelic faces in dream, and none of them want to remember but do that they already knew how very fragile it was against the sea. How they die in her cold, thin body, and no one would manage to come. How for pictures, they'd have to hold their hearts. And private in their double beds back then, the women wrapped widow arms around the daily bravura of their men and their silence, storing stomach heat against the unspeakable night advancing. You could hear it in the walls, but wouldn't know how long it would be until that delicate skin gets ripped.
Now, okay, judges, score the poem, and then all at once raise up your scores. I think that is what John just said. Okay. And are the poets going to go back there during the judging every time? No. Okay. I think this is the most like being at a Fisher Poets Gathering Committee meeting that I've ever experienced. So you can see why it runs so beautifully and incredibly. The amazing job that they do. Little fish hold math, everybody. This is how I used to try and stay awake when we were crab fishing, is adding up crab pots, losing track, remembering, adding and subtracting. Okay. This seems like the point where the props and the instruments might come in handy. Shanty. Oh, very short one. To-ra-yay, oh, to-ra-yay. Joe kanaka to-ra-yay. There's work tomorrow, but no work today. What's the score? 8.1 for Florence. I mean, for the poet. Okay. Florence says maybe poets can decide if they want to stay for the scoring or not. I think we see how this dynamic works. Okay. How about, and now We did all that. And then the last thing on my list is that the slam commences. Is that now? Okay, we're starting the slam. Woo! All right, everybody, welcome to the first annual 2018 Fisher Poets Gathering Poetry Slam. I'm your host, Mo Balstern, and I'm so excited to be here at the Liberty Theater. That's kind of how Mark Smith was, so I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Okay, poet number one. Get a big hand up for Ron!
Okay, got it. I have a short little romance poem called 2.5 Gallons Per Flush. Grandpa's old wooden fish boat wouldn't have been complete without that 5-gallon bucket outfitted with a toilet seat. You'd just fill it half full of water straight from the deck hose, apply the seat, and assume the pose. There was no plumbing to go awry. When you were done with your business, you just dumped it over the side. Well, them saddle bronc cowboys have nothing on me, 'cause I've rode that bucket in 40-foot seas. In weather like that, it was quite a ride. Pants around your ankles, sliding side to side. The water from the bucket would get your backside drenched, kind of like them toilets designed by the French. You had to ride that bucket, you had to swallow some pride, but it sure beat the hell out of hanging your cheeks over the side. Thanks.
Judges are judging. Judging. You guys look like you're ready? Okay. All right, hold them up. Do we have any addition and subtraction whizzes in the audience? Anybody like that who's already got it figured out? There's work tomorrow, but no work today. Joe, kanaka to Rye. That's not the rules, man. You want to come up here and MC? You can, but I'm not judging. I don't. 7.8. Poet number 2, come to the stage.
Okay, my name is Maisie Hermanson, and this one I introduced by saying sometimes inspiration bites you on the butt. This one's called Non de Plume. I found a certain feather, and this, I must confess, I put it in my pocket, for it was most impressive. But wait for just a minute to understand my scare. No, our fish camp's overrun with squirrels everywhere. This year there's so many that we are losing track of which we haven't trapped and which are coming back. Now on to my story. As you may recall, there's treasure in my pocket when nature comes to call. I hit the head and drop my trow, assuming the pose when I sit on something live. Well, swiftly I arose. A tickle against my keister had me shooting through the ceiling. With visions of varmints, 'twas a frightful feeling. As I came to my senses, I found there in my pocket the splendid plume that shot me off the can like a rocket. There's often a lesson in many a mishap. I guess this is why they put the feather in the cap.
And the judges are judging. I can't wait for the people of Oregon listening to State of Wonder, learning about how the Fisher Poets all we think about. That's right. Judges are judging. You guys want a 30-second poem from me that's not, please don't judge? It's called En Route to Togiak. Postcard poem, 1996. Venus hangs low and bright in the fading dark of the spring Alaska sky. The Big Dipper, one of the few constellations to punch through the atmosphere, hangs directly above the mast, 10 boat lengths up. The beautiful weather of this crossing has fallen me in love again with the sea. It is a sweet, sweet romance. This time she leads and I follow. In full awareness of my enchantment, I wash my shirts in the sink and dream at night of walking. Did you get a score? Thank you very much. 7.8. Don't we already have one of those? Okay, we got two 7.8s. I see a wrinkle. Judges, go higher or lower. Or do whatever. I'm not judging you in any way. Poet number 3.
Mechanico. I've fished for crab, and you know I've seen, chased Johnny Lobster off the rock-bound coast of Maine. Now I've gone broke, and I've made it pay from Qualicum Beach all the way to Kamishak Bay. Hey, I don't know about you, but there's one thing I won't do before I go. I wouldn't dream of going fishing till I've tuned into my weather radio. That's KEC 91 for me, if I want to avoid a lot of pain and misery. Computerized, technologically advanced. They say this guy is digitally enhanced. I hear the chicks out think he's hot. The guys want what he's got, a real dynamo. He's Mechanico, the voice of NOAA Weather Radio. Who plays it cool even when it's hot, keeps his composure when it's blowing 80 knots. In stormy weather, he's always calm, never sugarcoats his words. He's not your mom. I said, I'm never going fishing lest I've given him a listen before I go. Mechanico, he's the voice of NOAA Weather Radio. Ever popular, this guy's a pro. Even coasties tune in just to hear his show. You won't believe the hours he keeps. I'm still convinced this vato loco never sleeps. Who else will tell you that it's storming when the barometric pressure's getting low? It's Mechanico, the voice of NOAA Weather Radio. Mechanico, now he's the man. From Tijuana all the way to Acatan. Mechanico, he's the one for me, the product of 20 years of R&D. He's the maestro, he's the dude. Never cops an attitude, he ain't no schmo. He's laying low, but you can catch him on your weather radio. He's a natural, this cat is smooth. Mechanico always keeps it in the groove. Means what he says what he means when he tells you bar conditions are extreme. He's a powerhouse of knowledge, though he's never been to college, don't you know? He's Mechanico. He's the voice of NOAA Weather Radio. Personality, yes, and good looks. He's got it all. I've heard this guy can even cook. This bloke's got verve. He steals the show. After a while, you start to feel like he's your bro. So when the old blue water beckons, he's the one you best be checking. Don't even start that Jimmy till you got the inside skinny before you go. Mechanico, heart and soul of NOAA Weather Radio.
Judges are judging. Awesome. Also, I could remind you about the dance that's happening later. Now. Are you guys all ready already? Judges are ruling. Yes? All right, there they go. Next year, they're going to have light up ones. Like light bright, you know. Everybody's going to have their own. Ha ha ha. 9.5, 9. Woo! Okay, we're gonna do the also there's the auction. Bid on the auction. There's lots of wonderful things. The auction goes to pay for bringing poets here from all over the place. Florence is nodding. Wasn't that awesome hearing Florence read? Ooh, John's getting faster. What do we got? 9.1, thank you very much. 9.1, Jay Speakman, poet number 4. I know that guy.
All right. This is a little poem about my hometown of Seattle, Washington. It's called Changes. I took a walk the other day along the waterfront and docks. The changes there are thick and fast, a real Pandora's box. The folks that thought the fleet so quaint when they moved into the hood now want those rusty hulks to move. It's for the common good. There's 20 different restaurants and lots of little shops, but no place to get your welding done or to fix a dinged up prop. I thought I'd found a little place where I could get some bait. It's just too damned expensive when it's called a sushi plate. Aha, says I when I saw the sign that says, fish nets sold here. At last I found a working shop where I can get some gear. I ran right in but got a shock, because it weren't that kind of store. The fish nets there were stockings, and I slunk back out the door. If Doc Freeman knew the secret, he'd have sold some lingerie. And then just like Victoria, he'd be in the pink today. But Doc and Vic and Marco have all cashed in their chips. Seattle's working waterfront has slowly been eclipsed. Goodbye to the Kalakala, to Wawona, bid adieu. Just get them old hulks off the lake. It's time to start anew. We'll make it all homogenized and chase the tourist bucks. If folks want to taste the waterfront, they can go and ride the ducks. But we're losing local flavor when we ban the funky stuff, when the city is plain vanilla with nothing odd or rough. Now I know that change is constant, but it don't feel right to me when they're building flash new condos where the boatyards used to be. Thank you.
Okay, we're poised for the judging. Anybody here ever been on the Kalakala? Oh yeah, lots of hands. They used to be stuck in the mud in Kodiak and worked as a cannery, and they floated it down south. But it was a beautiful ferry for that. You guys ready? Ready? All right, looks like they're ready. We'll keep talking about the Kalakala while John does his addition. Excuse me? I'm telling you. It was a ferry. It was a real fancy Art Deco style, isn't that correct? Ferry that ran for a long time, and then it was in Kodiak. What? Gibson Cove. Yeah, Gibson Cove in Kodiak, and it was and then somebody dislodged it, and then floated it down, and they raised all this money, and they wanted it to be a big fancy venue, and it didn't work. They scrapped it. Crazy looking boat. You can check out the images. I broke into it and wandered around one time with Nicholas Johnson.
Our scores were 9.7, 9.5, 9.8, 7.5, and 9.
For a total of?
For an average of
9.4. 9.4. Poet number 5, approach the stage, please.
Sea storm. Its name is wind. Its creator, ocean. Its rage awakens. Wind, the trickmaster, twists water, bird, man into dumb confusion, births towering, flailing waves. Wind changes ocean's meaning, chops and grates its surface, compresses its desperate depths, bends and folds ocean's soul. Wind rends the mighty sea into watery mountains that screech like superheated glass. Birds and mariners, driven by its fury, seek shelter in any lee, behind any island or sandbar or wreck of a dead ship, any dock, any harbor. There is no lee here, a million miles from the nearest shore. Weeks, or perhaps forever, from the nearest town. Nothing to do but batten down my soul for the trip.
Goes without saying that I'm completely disqualified as a judge. I'm not neutral in any way. Okay, you guys all look close. Guy in the stocking hat, all right. Glasses, are you done? Yes. I should have said fellow spectacles or something. Yeah. Okay. Did you hear those, Math Whiz guy? 757572 something 8.0. Okay, yeah, how about it? This is fun. I think it's a success so far. I can't imagine anything more terrifying than doing math on stage. I would just make up a number. I mean, he could be making it up. Is anybody else checking the work? It's a 7.8. Poet number 6 approached the stage.
So I'm super lucky tonight because my mom and my sister are in the audience and here for the whole weekend. Her gift. My mother was asked in an interview about marine conservation what she took from the sea and what she gave back to it. She said she took salmon, her living and livelihood. She said she would give to the sea her daughters. The interviewer asked her to clarify. Didn't she mean she would give the stewardship of her daughters, not the daughters themselves? No, she said. She would give the sea her daughters. My sister and I learned to put our heads down to salt and slime, to work quickly and correctly, to grab the silver devils by their heads and throw them into fish holds, brailer bags, and ice. She taught us to love the suck of the tide ruthlessly and to cry into the wind so our tears would be lost. Sometimes I search the water and wonder, did she give us to the sea, or was it the sea she gave to us?
Are you Maggie Birch? Okay, good. I liked the mother's lesson, which wasn't don't cry, but it was cry like this. Cry into the wind. Okay, we got the judges are like, shut up, Mo, we got the numbers. Woo-wee. Our first 10 of the night. I said, shut up, Mo. Just so that's what happens with my name all the time. It's caused some problems because in Kodiak, to let go of the net, they say, let it go. And sometimes they would say, stop doing that, Mo, or where are you, Mo? And I would just let the net go. And it was a very bad deal. We untied a knot in the net for 10 hours during our first day of the herring season in 1996 because of that. So you're not the first one. It's all right. All right, John. 9.3. Squeaking in under Dano's 9.4. What number are we on? 6? Poet number 6? Oh, good. The last poets. Oh, so we're having 8 poets. Okay, the penultimate poet. Number 7, poet number 7. You coming? Here he comes. Here he comes. Excellent. Hi, Rich.
Thank you, Mo. Yeah. It's called Get Over It. Down in the rainforest, they're dredging it, burning down the trees to get after it, turn the Amazon into a cesspit, all for the love of that gold. Big Alaska mines gouge the landscape, leaving the earth in a mangled shape. Call it like it is, it's nature rape, all for the love of that gold. Blast the sea floor in the Bering Sea, dig up the tundra in the territory, poison the water with that mercury, all for the love of that gold. All around the world, down in Africa, Uzbekistan, Australia, Canada, Indonesia, Russia, and China, they can't get enough of that gold.
But the losers are the animals that live in the water, that drink from the river, that breathe in the air. The losers are the people who work in the mines, who live around the mines, are poisoned by the mines. The losers are all of us who care about the planet, who need to understand just who is to blame. Who is to blame for this disaster? Is there some sinister ringmaster? Who is it we need to get after to get us out this diabolic game? The miner making $10 an hour? The suit in the corporate seat of power? The fool whose golden name's on his tower? No, someone else close to home gets the claim. Look in the mirror, then you'll see it's a whole cross-section of humanity. It's each and every one of us whose vanity makes us think we got to buy that bling. The chain around the neck, that earring, gold watch, gold pin, gold anything that makes you think you're living like a king, but what value does it really bring? Admit it, the attraction is illusory. Half of mine gold goes to jewelry. With the cost to the earth, it's just foolery. We got to get over that bling. Forget about gold, it's a false veneer. Adding more toxins to the atmosphere, get over gold and leave the water clear. Leave that gold in the ground. Get over gold, leave the salmon in the river. Get over gold, leave the trees in the forest. Forget about gold, don't buy it anymore. Leave the damn gold in the ground.
A slam classic. Very good. I'm admiring. Did you guys know that Rich King used to be on the Alaska slam poetry team? Rich King.
1, 2, 3.
You guys ready? He's not in the running. Rich King isn't. He's not. See, deckhand. Just doing my job. MC, it's all right. All right, varying and wide array. Yeah, Rich King called me up because he said, you know, I used to be on the Alaska Slam Poets team, and I saw that you've got this poetry slam thing, and I just wonder what you're doing with it. And that's when I was like, what? I'm what? But I didn't see him on the, maybe he'll do something for us later. He said they couldn't really relate to him, but nobody else did anything about fishing on the slam poet teams or the judges or anything. I think this would be the perfect thing for him. Are we ready? 8.5. You guys are awesome. We're almost there. Poet number 8. Poet number 8. 8th poet. Ron McDaniel. Sorry, Ron, I just saw your hat, and I thought I would say your name. Are we done? Rich was the last poet? Okay. So now I think we do some more math, right?
There's not much math to do because we have a winner.
We have a winner. Who is the winner? And the winner is, you probably know. No, you throw out the top number, and you throw out the bottom number, and then you average the 3 in the middle. Isn't that what they said? Who does? Jay Speakman, 9.1, bronze. Maggie Burr, silver, 9.3. Dan O'Quinn, 9.4. Who will be featured tomorrow on the Oregon Public Broadcasting show, State of Wonder. And Dano, I think you have enough time to get a little toilet humor in there if you want to get some coaching from Measy or Rob. Just put a little toilet in there. Thank you very much to the judges. Would you stand up and take a bow? Judges, thanks. Have a great time tonight. Go to the